I'm doing this video because I received a couple comments on one of my previous videos that I'm going to address a little bit. So there were several issues that were mentioned, and these comments were pro-circumcision. Now, I delete such comments because I do not want to give pro-circumcision people a platform. They're wrong, and they have no business on my channel. When people have honest questions, then I'm happy to engage, but when they just want to keep insisting that circumcision has benefits and all these kinds of lies, then I just delete those comments because I don't want other people to get infected with that bad information. So the first issue that this person brought up was that it's so complicated having an intact penis, and you're talking about all these rules and everything. First of all, it's not complicated. The only rule is leave it alone. That's what we're saying. All these things about don't worry about when you become retractable, don't worry about forcing it back, don't use soap. It all boils down to leave it alone. Let it develop naturally as it's intended to. It's very simple. Second point I want to make about that is that it is only because that we live in a circumcised culture that we have to even talk about these things. In a country like Peru, you've heard me talk about before, where my fiance lives, these are issues he has never had to deal with as a child. This is not something people discuss because everybody there has their foreskin. Nobody is circumcised. I mean, the circumcision rate for that country is so small. Most people, including him, have never seen someone who's circumcised in their entire lives. It's very rare. This is great. They don't have all these problems. And likewise, since they don't have all of these people trying to push circumcision on them, they don't have these questions or these worries. They don't have to debate against the pro-circumcision people who are trying to tell people all of these lies. Here we have to talk about it because we have pro-circumcision people saying, oh, you should be retractable by such and such an age. Oh, make sure it's clean. Oh, make sure this. Oh, make sure that. Oh, it's going to cause this problem. And so we have to react against those. When you don't have that opposition, when you don't have that bad side, circumcision is the bad side, then you don't have to put out these videos to clarify against all the false information, because everybody's like, well, it's a penis, you just let it develop as it develops, no problem. It's only because circumcision is so prevalent, and to push it, they have created all of these false stories talking about false problems that the foreskin causes and false benefits that they claim circumcision has. This is false, but this is what they keep doing. And so we have to fight against this, and we have to educate people against these lies that they've been told over and over and over again. The second comment on that thread that I had to delete dealt with, well, no, there really are benefits, you're wrong, and if you're so happy about not being circumcised, why do you have this whole channel where you're constantly telling people about it, and all these kinds of things? He likened it to, he or she, I don't know which, I think it was a guy, but couldn't tell from the username, but he also likened it to saying, well, it's like you have these gay guys who have YouTube channels talking about how awesome it is to be gay. If they were really so happy about it, they wouldn't be having a YouTube channel about it. You don't have all these straight guys having YouTube channels about how awesome it is to be straight. Well, we can combine those two issues and talk about them. Again, in a country where the majority of people are not circumcised, so in Peru, the majority of people have their foreskin. Circumcision is virtually non-existent. In a country like that, you don't have to talk about it. People don't talk about how proud they are to be uncircumcised or be intact or whatever, because that's the norm. Now, in a country where you're the minority, you have to talk about it, really push it, talk about how wonderful and awesome it is, because you're fighting against all these people that are constantly belittling it, putting it down, making it sound like it's a second-class penis, if you will. And that's why we have to constantly be talking about it and expressing this pride, because when people hear these bad things about it, it makes that minority group, whatever that minority group might be, feel bad about themselves, not want to talk about it, be embarrassed. I mean, I have seen people who were not circumcised, and yet they've been embarrassed about it. They don't want to tell people because they're afraid people will tell them these things. Oh, you're dirty. Oh, make sure you keep it clean. All of these things. And because of that, that's why we have the need to talk about foreskin pride, being proud to have that foreskin. Now, this is the same reason, if you want to talk about being gay. Now, I'm also gay, as is my fiance, obviously. The reason for people talking about happy being gay and about their lives and things like that on YouTube channels, one is it helps other people. I mean, I enjoy watching YouTube channels about other gay couples, going about their lives, the things that they're interested in, the things they do, their adventures. And that's why Sandra and I created our own adventure channel of, us doing stuff together and going and exploring and trying food and vacations and things like that. When people who are gay see that, it's enjoyable for them to watch it and to see that, oh, there's others like me. Now, if you had everybody, or the vast majority of people, were gay, well, maybe you wouldn't have as much of that. But you have people that do YouTube channels that are straight also. So that idea that straight people don't talk about how awesome it is being straight, they're kind of doing that just by talking about their families and their lives. And so why should gay people not do the same thing? Furthermore, it's one of those things that when something has been vilified or looked down upon, or people have been made to feel weird about, as they gain confidence in themselves, they become more outspoken and everything, and how awesome it is to be a certain way, whether we're talking about being gay, and you have Pride Month and the Pride parades. It's celebrating being able to finally be open about it and not be persecuted. I mean, though that hasn't completely gone away, it's better than it used to be. And when you talk about the foreskin, it's that you want to promote that, bring that to the forefront so that more people realize, hey, it's perfectly okay. Now, which brings me to a final issue, is one of the things you commonly hear when you're talking to people on whether it be Facebook or other social media platforms is people want to be like, oh, we should just respect each other's different parenting choices. Well, guess what? No. If someone is doing something wrong, I do not respect that choice. Circumcision is something that is wrong and a parent has no right to do. I do not respect that choice to do that. You are taking away that choice from your child when he is too young to be able to defend himself. I do not respect that. Now, what I do respect are those parents who have educated themselves either before their first child or realizing that they made a mistake, they did their research for their next child, and they have done better. They educated themselves and they have done better. That I respect. But those who insist on arguing this false position that circumcision is somehow better and that it's somehow their right to do it and we should respect it as a valid parenting choice, no, that's not a parenting choice I respect. Parenting choice is whether you're going to put, get your child this toy or that toy. Sure, I can respect that. That doesn't harm anybody. But a choice that harms someone, that I don't respect. You are harming another when you do circumcision, and that child has no way to defend themselves. So that is not a choice that I respect. But again, like I said, those regret parents who have realized, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I've been lied to. Because yes, it is a very powerful lie that people have been told for decades in the United States. And sometimes people have not gotten enough information, they have not really done the research, they didn't really understand the issues. And that, you know, the information is out there, and I think parents have a responsibility to do the research. And I think the more that, and that's another reason for these videos and things like that, is so that they can, so we counteract the bad information. You know, so many people are like, well, the only guys I've heard that weren't circumcised, they wish their parents had done it, or, you know, as babies and all that. That's why they need to hear from someone like me and someone like Sandra that, no, we're very happy that we were not circumcised, and there's no reason for it. And in countries where circumcision is virtually non-existent, people don't worry about these things. They don't ask about circumcision because it never happens. They don't have the so-called problems. And that's what people need to realize, and that's why information like this needs to get out there. If it was something everybody knew, then there would be no reason for it. But because it's something that people don't know, or we have to work against an opposing side spreading false, bad information, that's why things like this are necessary. I respect when someone takes the opportunity to educate themselves and learn better. You know, what is that saying? Know better, do better.